before we actually get started on the video, I just wanted to show the combo for Outrage, at least the order you're going to be doing everything in to get the most bang for your buck when going through the maximum burst. Most of the time I'm playing from a bush, so I'll bush and then Dragon Dance to them. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, Outrage. I kind of messed it up a little bit there. But you're using the auto resets, especially if you go X-atk. You're doing this much faster, as you can see. I know it's level 15, bloated. Damage per second is also bloated. But hopefully the concept will apply to you. That's all. Just so you can see, pretty much, you want to be resetting. You want to use an auto, immediately Outrage right when the auto ends. So that way you get the most effective auto cancels in your kit. And also auto cancel the Dragon Dances as well when you can. Just best way to do damage, that's all. Moose here, bringing the Outrage Dragonite guide you've been looking for. This guide will assume you have a basic understanding of Pokemon Unite, what the hell elements do and their hidden effects, and have a general sense of game plan when playing. We're going to be going over the best held items with options based on user preference, battle items, and my favorite matchup chart to show which enemies can actually be a threat to you. Dragonite with Outrage is a menacing brawler capable of 1v1ing any other melee character in the game easily, has strong picking potential, insane burst, and very strong CC in his autos when he evolves. Would really only recommend going this build when playing jungle though. With team synergy, he's capable of absolutely running down an entire team, peeling for his squishies while applying immense pressure and killing them. Well, let's get right into it. Starting with his passive, it's really only going to be effective against physical attackers. Very good against like a Cinderace jungle or something like that. Because when he's affected by a status condition, he gets 100 defense. That's about a 12.5% defense or health boost, basically. But it matters. It'll help out. You know, give you a little bit of tankiness in the first little gank there whenever you get targeted. But multi-scale is when it's really good. He gets that when his final evolution happens. This makes him take 20% less damage, 2.5 seconds when hit by an enemy. It does have a 15-second cooldown, but that's really not bad for a passive. That's extremely strong because if he gets like he gets united by anybody, maybe Absol jumps on him and unites, he's going to be taking a lot less damage in that initial burst. That's very important that you keep this passive up when you're trying to play Dragonite. You want to have your passive, maybe then ult in to a bunch of people. You can have that 20% damage reduction. You can be a lot more of a menace and die a little bit less quickly. And his boosted autos, I love and hate them. When you're not in Outrage form, before you get your final evolution, his autos, I hate his boosted autos. It fires that laser beam, it misses on minions, it misses on people, it can make you like not secure a kill because it just will barely not touch them. I wish it was just a sure hit boosted auto with these effects. He'd actually be a lot stronger. But it is what it is. He fires that little laser beam. In water form, he heals 5% of his max life when it hits an enemy. And it also reduces the cooldown by 1 second, which is a recurring effect on all of his other yellow and red beams. The yellow beam is a stun, which is probably the best one for most general use. It stuns it for 0.6 seconds. And again, as the same water, it also reduces the cooldown of all the moves, except for Unite move, of course. Doesn't really have a cooldown. Red form is for the damage. It does 10% enemies remaining health, and it is capped, but usually on like a player, you're not going to reach that cap. Nobody has that much health, even with max health items, and playing Blissey, you're not going to reach that cap, so you're going to be doing a lot of damage with that, especially when you combine it with like Muscle Band and stuff. Ooh. You will hit very hard and kill people very quickly. That is 10% is very significant, especially when you're rotating with Outrage. You rotate fast and you're constantly doing insane damage. It's very good against people who can like last a lot or have some sustain, or especially with Blissey healing nowadays. Very good. His boosted auto hits pretty hard too once you get leveled up. Just by default, even without the Outrage scaling or anything, it's already hitting for like 700. That is pretty good, and you attack very quick. That's before any of the additional effects. So very, very strong, very strong. Heals a lot from bees and stuff like that. Twister early game, just your standard. You're not really going to be using this because you're going to be going jungle. So by the time you get to the first gank, you're already level 5. Hopefully you didn't get invaded or something. When I'm doing my jungle clear, I'll use X-atk. I really prefer X-atk in my game plan when going with this build. Gives you 25% attack speed and 20% attack scaling, or just base attack. And he's not got bad attack, so it helps you with that first clear. Usually makes it so if Gradient does invade, can't get your first Ludicolo, he has to contest the crabs or the red buff, so it helps out in that case. Dragon Dance is where I would recommend Dragon Dance any time of the day. Dragon Dance is insane. Extreme Speed is good. It's more for a bruiser build, but you do much less damage. I've killed a lot of Dragonites in equal footing when they're using extreme speed, but they could be like a level under me, and I cannot kill them when they're using Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance puts a lot of pressure. It gives them good up to 24% attack scaling, gives them an 80% attack boost for the next 3 basic attacks, which by the time you use the 3 basic attacks, you can do Dragon Dance again, more Outrage shenanigans. That attack stim is insane when you're rotating between all your passives. So your heal, your stun, and your red big damage for remaining health. It's so good. The upgrade is alright. It's nice. 10% movement speed isn't bad, don't get me wrong. It would be nice if it was maybe more scaling or something. The only issue with Dragon Dance is it doesn't have any special effect with Outrage. It's, got the Hyper Beam scaling on it. So each time you use it, you get Hyper Beam, it levels up 3 times, it gets more stages. That's very good. I wish Outrage had that. If it did, it'd probably be an insane move. But as it is what it is. Outrage is still very strong with Dragon Dance, and I'd pick it over Extreme Speed any time of the day. Yes, enemy could be playing like Cinderace, do eject button, dash away, and then your Extreme Speed could still catch him because it's a sure hit and it locks on. But honestly, it's probably never going to beat Dragon Dance. The sheer pressure you could put on like a Blastoise spinning, the objective clear time, you need Dragon Dance. You really need it. And Dragon Dance will also make you stick to people better in a shorter range. Extreme Speed can go further, but Dragon Dance is up more often. So that's one thing about it. But Extreme Speed does reset your cooldown of multi-scale. So yeah, it's better for bruisers. It does also do damage at least, so I guess there's that. But I would always take Dragon Dance. I'll always take Dragon Dance. This move is very good. You want to use it after using a boosted auto because it gives you a boosted auto. It's pretty damn hard for a beginning ability. And you're not going to be getting an upgrade until level 8 when you get your final evolution. So as it is, honestly, it's a very good ability. I don't mind it at all. It's very good for the first gank because it does hit pretty hard. And you can secure like the bees with it just when they're low. Not bad. I like it. Hyper Beam, I don't really want to talk about it too much because everyone knows about Hyper Beam. Get the stages, get it leveled up. As you can see, it gets like a 50% damage scaling, over 50% when it gets upgraded. And when you're level 13, you also get 50% damage reduction while charging it. And I do charge it for a little bit, and it is what it is. I'm not a big fan of Hyper Beam personally. I know it's the better way to play him, and it's the way you should be playing him, because that does a lot of damage to jungle creeps, especially when fully charged. Gets used at Zapdos, secure, like guaranteed. But Outrage is just too much fun. So Outrage, one important part of Outrage is that it will apply the last boosted effect that he used. So for example, the yellow stuns for 0.6 seconds, right? I don't need to scroll all the way back up. Gives him a 30% attack stim for 5.5 seconds, which is the duration of the buff. And also, he goes to melee mode. He alternates between water, electric, and fire. If you do, like you say, you do your full rotation of like Outrage, or you Outrage before fighting, the next Outrage you use, make sure you use it with a yellow boosted auto. So you use a yellow boosted auto and an Outrage, and you'll do a double stun. I don't see anybody doing that intentionally. That is a underused mechanic of Outrage. To get a double stun, it'll be 1.2 seconds. I mean, if you time it perfectly, but probably like a 1 second stun. So it just gives them more pressure. You can do more damage on objectives by using the red form on it, which is also nice. Or you can blue form Outrage and get another heal. There's a lot of ways to use Outrage, and it all involves just paying attention to your stacks and what last boosted auto you use. And the stun is 0.7 seconds. It is what it is, It'd be nice if this wasn't here, but it's a part of the kit. It's referencing the OG Pokemon. It makes sense. You hurt yourself or something like that. I don't exactly remember OG Pokemon. Upgraded form, though, I believe it's a 30% hindrance reduction. That is massive. So there's like a chart that you can find online that tells you resistances. I believe all-rounders get like 25% resistance to CC. So that means CC lasts 25% less longer. But with the upgrade to this, once you get to 13 and while you're Outraged, that'll give you about half CC reduction, just about. Which is very important because that means you could stick to people better. CC stuns will last less time, slows will last less time. Honestly, hitting 13 is very important for Dragonite. He gets a lot of attack at the last 2 levels as well. He gets like 100 attack between 13 and 15, although a lot of people do. It's just very important to get these. If you can level up to 15, which you should be going for, you should be hyper farming. You should be pressuring objectives with your alt and just going rampant. This guy is super easy to play. His alt is very good too. It hits extremely hard. Let's say you just 13, does 2,000 damage just off the get-go. You can use half the charge or full charge. It used to be stronger. It used to be you could use 25%, I believe. But I'm glad they nerfed it. It was a little bit too strong with the buddy barrier shenanigans. As it is right now, you can use it in place in like a bush or something and then run people down just to keep your charge up, or you can use it at max distance to like try and secure an objective. I wouldn't really go for that unless your team was also there and you maybe died or something and the objective was slowly fought over. Try to use your alt in an offensive way where you can get 1 or 2 important picks and then your team can help follow up with the rest. Once your alt's down, it's hard to play this build to a degree because you can be kited. That Unite buff is very important for you to be able to stick to people with Dragon Dance as well. So usually aim to kill the important targets that'll be, you know, bullying your team. Like you can like 3-hit an Absol, for example, and then your team can just, you know, be a lot more free. The backline's less pressured, for example. Alright, for his stats, at 5, 9, and 13 are the important levels. 5 is when he gets the first evolution for Dragon Dance. He also gets 10% crit, 5% lifesteal. 8 is when he evolves. 9 is when he gets his alt, and he gets that last 10% crit and 5% more lifesteal. And at 13 is when he gets his last 5% of lifesteal. Lifesteal is very good with melee because you can like hit a bunch. You can hit all the bees with Outrage and just full heal super easily. You can when you're hitting people, you're getting at least some life back. You do a lot of damage straight up with the build I'm going to show you, and you're going to be healing a lot off of that. Especially maybe if you have like a Blissey on your team. Blissey's on like every competitive team right now. Hoopu's on every competitive team. You have a lot of ways to just get your life back and just go crazy again. And it's honestly very, very fun. This guy with Outrage is probably my second favorite character to play. I really enjoy playing Blissey as my main, but that's for another day. Let's go over the held items first. So strong, I would say scope lens is practically mandatory when playing Outrage. Just being able to just crit somebody, using that Outrage damage scaling for your autos on top of like how the boosted auto system works, and when you get 1 crit, that's like half a life bar. And it's not even bad crit. It's 20% crit chance once you're 9, which is when you're usually trying to fight, and that's when the first Dreadnought should be up. You should be rotating for your jungle whenever it's up. Get a pick if you can. Get like one auto. You don't even need to score, and you'll be level 9 for first Dread easily. So you should be going for level 9, alting, and then you should just go Unga Bunga. Yeah, you could run into like a bunch of problems if your team's not there, but you have so much damage and carry potential that I don't think it matters too much. So Scope Lens, Muscle Band, Razor Claw is the build I go. You don't get the slow effect of the Razor Claw, but with how much Dragon Dance is up and Outrage is resetting, you get a lot of Razor Claw procs, and Razor Claw scales very highly off of attack. So let me just show it for anybody who hasn't looked at this. It gets 50% attack scaling plus 20, which is, you know, whatever. Every 2 seconds it can activate. So 50%, half of your attack also gives a little bit of crit, which is nice. Half of your attack plus 20 is not bad, especially early. Helps the early game out. Once you're later in the game, that can hit for like half an auto, kind of. It's insane how much damage Razor Claw can put out and help you. It'd be nice if there was a chart that showed you what damage each held item did, while, you know, after the game you could be like, oh, my Razor Claw did 15% of my damage. My Scope Lens did 15%. It'd be nice to know that, but sadly, as of right now, there's no way to tell. Focus Band is good, Buddy Barrier is good, Energy Amp is good. Let me get that out of the way. But I would totally recommend Scope Lens, Razor Claw, Muscle Band to start out with. Clear your jungle as fast as possible. Look to apply pressure with Dragon Dance, because you can chase most characters down at that point. They cannot get away from you. You're stunning them in the lane. If they're pushed up, they're going to die because you off-put a lot of damage. But if you feel like you want to play more of a bruiser, you can go focus and then play around that. You know, whenever you focus up, then you can ult in and go crazy. I prefer having more damage, and that's just how I like to play it. But you can totally play it with focus and Buddy Barrier and then Muscle Band, maybe just be this general standard cookie cutter build. Energy Amp, you're not looking for it to get your ult back faster. You're looking for energy amp to ult in, do a bunch extra damage, and then go for like a very quick one shot essentially with energy amp. The only issue with it is that it doesn't last for too long for how his ult works, so you're not getting that much effect. It will be 4 seconds, but sometimes you might get kited for those like 2 of the seconds, you know, so it doesn't give him as much effect as like a Greninja ulting, for example, but it is still a good item on him, you know. And a little bit extra charge rate doesn't hurt. He likes having ult, he loves having ult. Score Shield is kind of fallen off of the meta because of the changes. Still can be used. I wouldn't recommend attack weight either. Just personally, you can just go with more consistent items. I would totally recommend that, because you're never going to guaranteed scoring with your jungle. You might not ever get a good lane to be able to gank and fight, or you might kill the lane, but then the jungler comes and you can't really score. So I would just take a consistent route and farm your jungle and get levels like that. Maybe in the future, if this buffs, Cookie could be good, just having more HP. Sure, maybe it had to be buffed significantly for him, since he doesn't want to score necessarily. He wants to fight and let the team score. Float Stone could be good if it has more of a consistent effect outside of the long 7-second CD, whatever it is. And Weakness Policy could be good as well if it gets buffed in the future for him. He does have pretty good attack stats, so maybe you could eventually see like subbing out Muscle for weakness, just having a stronger initial bruiser build. It gives you some health too. No, nothing else down there. In terms of battle items, so you got X-atk is the one that I love. Helps you with the clear speed. Helps you with applying pressure to just killing somebody quickly. You can always, you know, once you hit 5, you get 10% crit chance. Having a faster attack speed means you have a little bit better chance to crit. And that's just very important for just securing the early kills and surprising somebody, because lots of people play quite safe in this game. So having that surprise damage is what will actually get you to be able to score, as opposed to, you know, not being able to. Eject button's always good, just being able to flash on somebody while in Outrage and start autoing them. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Flashing over walls too to surprise people or just get away from a situation. X speed to alt, X speed, and then run people down. You can't be slowed. Full heal is very good. Just get rid of CC. Though I would prefer X speed over this, just because there's more slows in the game than stuns. But I could see an argument for full heal based on the enemy team comp. Slow smoke is very good. They let you jump on someone, slow smoke them, and then they're practically dead. Some characters might be able to live though if you don't have X-atk up. Fluffy Tail and Goal Getter and Potion probably not as needed anymore. You don't really need to clear speed with Fluffy. You don't need the securing potential. Your autos hit insanely hard. Goal Getter, you could still run it by, you know, alt Goal Getter. Haha, very funny. But you're mainly looking to brawl and help the team out and make sure they can get the farm they need. And Potion's always like there. If you want to take Potion and like Focus Band and have like a second HP bar, you can always do that. But you can always just do more damage too and kill them before they can have a chance to kill you. So for the matchup chart, these are the characters that pretty much will give you trouble, or the ones that you do well against. So in the static 1v1 environment is where I'm thinking most of these are. However, there are some like specifics to some of these, like for example Blissey and Hoopa. Yeah, you can kill them very quickly, but you're more worried about the team that they're going to be supporting most of the time, and the CC they might be able to provide or the utility they provide is what you have to always be focused on. Starting at the bottom, Clefable, broken, everybody knows that, best character in the game, easily you see it on every team. God. Delphox. Fire Spin is practically the bane of any melee character in the game. Her kiting potential, if you like ult on her, she can just ult and run away and fire spin, and it'll chase you down, and then you practically like come out even. Like you can't kill her, but she can kill you by fire spinning and then using her other ability, whatever it is, mystical fire, whatever, over and over again, and she can repeat that, and she sets up for her team very nicely. So this character is mainly the one you want to focus on in a lot of fights if you can. If you can get on top of her and kill her, or if like a teammate CCs her and you have a chance to ult on her, and or maybe ult in front of her so she has to go towards your team or you and take a bunch of damage, that's how I would play that. This character is very strong. The anti-heal on our ult 2 is 50% anti-heal. So that does make it so you do regen a lot less when you're in these high damage engagements where you're just trading blows and going for these resets. Slowbro, Eldegoss, they're both very annoying to go against. Slowbro will be able to stun you with Surf if you go in Surf, or Scald will reduce your attack by an insane amount. I think it's 40%, so that's a huge attack stim, or Surf with the big CC it provides, especially at level 11. He can telekinesis you and make it so you're kind of useless for a little bit. It's Slowbro, you know, he can always ult you. You want to look to take an ult from Slowbro in a situation where you won't die, or you want to play with your team more and let the Slowbro ult someone else or something like that. But in a 1v1 you do beat him, but he provides so much to the team that it's very hard when there's a Slowbro on the enemy team. He can always just ult your ult and make you practically useless. It is what it is, you know. Slowbro, that's how Slowbro plays. He makes one character obsolete, and he lets his team take out one person in a 5v5 fight. At least that's how it works in theory. So he's very strong, and very strong against you. Eldegoss, Leaf Tornado is annoying. The heal from ult is annoying. Cotton Guard's annoying. But the main part is, as long as you can play around her Leaf Tornado, you can kill an Eldegoss. As long as if she like Leaf Tornadoes forward to push her team in, and you have a team that can like CC a bit, and then you can go in on Eldegoss, you will kill her. But if she has Leaf Tornado, it might be a little hard. She can usually get away a bit. Greninja and Cinderace, both high mobility characters. You kill them very quickly, but getting on top of them is the issue. You got to usually do it from a bush or from ulting behind them and then going in like that and kind of collapsing, sandwiching the team. Otherwise it's very hard to actually get on top of and kill them. But once you do, they are dead quickly. Greninja's ult is a bit better for getting out of a silly situation because it gets them unstoppable. But Cinderace, Cinderace can't ult because you'll just stun the ult and then it'll be useless. So it's kind of like here, but not really. They both die just as quickly. Mamoswine, super annoying, kind of like Slowbro. Stuns you a bunch, puts you in a situation where you can get poo-pooed on by the team. It is what it is. Mamoswine, I don't see him very much, but when I do, usually it's like a one trick or a very, very good player. And they will focus you in a fight, so you got to play around that and try to position yourself to a point where there's no Mamo on the screen or near you, or the Mamo's focused on someone else, and you can then bully the back lane. It's hard to do that though. Hoopa, Blissey, they're both, it's not them you're worried about, it's a team or whoever they're supporting. Whether it be Hoopa Trick, Hoopa Portal, portaling them back. If you stun with yellow on the portal, they can't take the portal. So that's very important in case, the Hoopa's trying to cheese. Just make sure you time your yellow to be where the portal would go back. Blissey, Egg Bomb's annoying because until she gets level 12, it won't slow you, but it will knock you away. And then she can heal a bunch, or she can safeguard and keep people from getting CC'd and getting in that vortex that Dragonite's really good at. Charizard, very strong. Charizard is pretty even. If he's smart, when he ults, he'll be just barely out of your auto range. So usually you actually don't outrage versus Charizard. You want to just auto him and just try to take trades where you can with the just basic auto attacks. But if his ult's down, then you can go Unga Bunga and just absolutely tear him apart. He does not win the fight without ult. But that's how Charizard works. Similar to Slowbro, when his ult's up, he's a menace. When it's not, he's kind of like, he's there. He does a lot of damage, but he's not that scary. Trevenant, lots of CC, lots of pushing around potential. He can really put you in a situation you don't like to be in, but you got to play around that and know what kind of Trevenant you're going up against. Is it Horn Leech? Is it Curse? Is it Pain Split? Is he gonna try to stall you out? I don't really see Pain Split, but always take into account what the enemy's running. Similar to Snorlax, if he's going like block, gonna be pushing you away from the team. It's annoying, but you can play around it. If he's going flail, then you do win the battle, but he might get, if he's going like crit, he can always get a lucky crit and kill you, so taking that into account. Now, the good, he has a lot of winning matchups, Dragonite. He will kill people before they kill you, essentially. Like Crustle, he can't really get away. Even Shell Smash, you can just Dragon Dance to it and then just stun. Do your combo, stun. Like, you just basically rinse and repeat the same thing over and over with Outrage, doing a bunch of damage to him. His ult is scary because, you take some damage back, but you will heal back enough. X-Scissor is very annoying too. If I've been seeing more Crystals run Excessor after the buffs, 7-second cooldown on a big stun, especially if it goes into the wall. But he's not really going to beat you in any 1v1s. You have too much sustain. Duraludin, no mobility. I have kind of a little bit mobility, but not really. His ult kind of sucks if you're on top of him, so he can't really panic ult, and you just kill him if he ults because he's sitting still for too long. If he's turret build, what's he gonna do? Turret you to death? No, you kill him, you stun him out of the turret mode. The only thing is Dragon Pulse, but everyone knows Dragon Pulse now. It got nerfed a couple times. It's still very strong, but it's not how it used to be. He can't 1v5 a team with hitting all Dragon Pulse once. Greedent's annoying. You're not really going to kill Greedent. Greedent's not really going to kill you. If he tries to bullet seed you down, you just beat his face in with Outrage. If he just farms, then it is what it is. Gengar, he does a lot of damage if he's going sleep build, or if he's going hex build, he can do a lot of damage. But I've tested this a lot, and you do usually win the fight. You don't really need any crits to win, but it can depend if, maybe he's super far ahead, like 3 levels ahead of your whole team, and you're only like 1 level behind. Maybe he can kill you before you kill him, Serena, she's going to hit a lot of buttons, and none of them are going to matter because you're just going to stun her through everything. It's very funny to watch Serena try to beat an average Dragonite. Her ult can put a lot of pressure on you, but as long as you stay calm and maybe you can bait her ult out with your ult, and it's not that scary. Blastoise, Rapid Spin's been kind of put back into the cage. It's gone. I still see it, but it's not nearly how it used to be with being able to run someone down. You can auto someone super fast, if like X-atk, Outrage, Blastoise. It's not that scary, because you can beat him. You can also ult when he ults and then land on him to get a guaranteed knock up and then go from there. Use your better kit to beat him. He might be able to run away though with like Surfer, Hydro Pump, and just push you away. So that might be annoying, but you win. Sylveon, she does have a lot of dashes with Mystical Fire or Hyper Voice, being able to kite you. But once you get to her, she's dead. She's got to like panic ult and run away basically. Pikachu, annoying, has some sure hit stuns or basically sure hits, and then later on with this Thunder Shock, but not that worrisome. He does do a lot of damage, but you kill him quickly. Similar to like Gardevoir, you kill her quickly. She can stun you, she can slow you. You're usually looking to pick her, but I mean, if there's a Delphox, you want to pick Delphox, but if there's no Delphox, then Gardevoir is your other target, because the Gardevoir could 1v5 with a nice playstyle, If she ults you, then that's usually good for the team, then your team can not be as worried about the Gardevoir. Wigglytuff is annoying with the sleep and the slows from the Dazzling Gleam. Usually I see Dazzling Gleam, but other than that, it's not that scary. The ult, you usually tear through the shield pretty quickly, so I'm not too worried about seeing Wigglytuff anymore. With this build, Aegislash, you beat him. Even very good Aegislashes I've beat in a purely 1v1 equal footing build. Equal footing, equal level, both ulting, you beat him. But usually, if there's a sword trying to 1v5, you can pretty much jump on him and just beat him up. That's not too difficult. He can do a lot of damage if he's going to crit route, and he might be able to kill you, but if he's going Sacred Sword, you usually win. The mouse sucks. Mouse is bad. You kill the mouse easily. The mouse can do everything to you, and you can just hit Outrage autos and then you'll win. Like, it's super easy. The mouse sucks right now. Okay, as an all-rounder at least. Zeraora, he's going to hit a lot of buttons. Wild Charge is scary, but as long as you are playing around minions and stuff and using that to lifesteal a little bit more, you can usually beat a Zeraora. Cramorant, scary if he's going the Air Slash build, just because he can kite you a bit easier with the dive and stuff like that. But if he's the Surf build with the Hurricane, it's not that scary. You're just going to be able to chase him down, and he's got no mobility. If he ults, you just beat his face in, and you win the damage, basically, the damage trade. Talonflame, scary because Talonflame can do a lot of burst damage, but with your passive, it's not that bad. You got to be a little bit more of a man when fighting Talonflame, because you're probably going to go low to health once he finishes the burst, and then you're just going to kill him. So you want to time your Outrage, if he's going like Fly, you want to time your Outrage to see when the circle gets bigger, so that way that's when you know he's coming back down. Hit Outrage, and then go crazy from there. Machamp can always kill an entire team with ulting. you know, dynamic punch into ult and hitting like 5 people, he can kill you. But other than that, you do win a straight up 1v1. He's got a lot of burst, similar to Talonflame, and his autos do hit pretty hard. But with your healing and multi-stunning that you're doing with your rotation, you do win the battle. You do win. But just be mindful of his ult. If you have to ult away after he ults, just to make sure, you know, you don't want to ever give up your XP lead. If you should have a lead, you can always just ult away like a baby. You don't have to worry too much about that. Lucario, big punch dog. You beat the punch dog. A punch dog will be hitting a lot of buttons. Just watch out for Aura Sphere. You don't want to get hit by a 4-hit Aura Sphere point blank. You want to make sure that your Dragon Dance is ready to dodge it. Other than that, not too much to say. You beat the blue dog pretty fair and square. He might be able to run away though if he's E-Speed and Bone Rush. He might be able to just get away from you, you know. But you beat him. Venusaur, no matter what build he's going, the Petal Dance, you can actually keep up with Petal Dance. Funny enough, he cannot get away from you if you're doing the rotations properly. With the multi-stunning, you are always on top of him. And if he's the Solar Beam build, well, he basically does nothing because you could dodge the Solar Beams with Dragon Dance. So this character beats Venusaur very easily. Mr. Mike, you go over his walls. The worst part of him, if he goes guard swap, it can be a little annoying based on that. But honestly, Mr. Mike is so bad right now. He doesn't do much damage. His ult can at least disrupt you for a bit since they did buff his CC from his ult. Other than that, though, he's pretty weak, to be honest. I feel bad for all the Mr. Mike players. You can always see a good Mr. Mike, but not much anymore after all the nerfs they've done to him. He didn't deserve him. He was fine how he was. Alolan, only one dash is Veil. Similar to Decidueye, doesn't really have any dashes, so once you get to them, they're basically dead. There's nothing they can do. They can eject button, and you can Dragon Dance. They can ult and eject button, and try and run. You can Dragon Dance and just double stun them. It's super easy. You kill them, no problem. Decidueye might be able to be a little scary with Razor Leaf and Shadow Sneak, because he might be able to win a 1v1 purely, based on the range and situation, but honestly, not much. Absol, you beat Absol. Your passive's really good against Absol because he's all burst, no consistent damage. Once he goes in, you just outrage and then do your thing. If he ults, sure, you can ult and dodge it, you know, and you might take a couple hits, but you'll dodge it. It's not that scary. Espeon, similar to the other two, you just dodge. It's hard to hit a Dragonite. I mean, Future Sight does make it so it's near guaranteed to hit. But I've dodged some Espeon stuff with Dragon Dance just because it puts it in an arc and it'll go around the beads. So you could dodge some stuff from Espeon. Ult, sure, pushes you away a little bit. You can just find a way back in. She doesn't have that good of a kit to get you off of her. Garchomp. This is one I've talked to a couple people about and I've definitely tested a lot on. You beat Garchomp pretty fair and square. I've fought a lot of Garchomp builds and just made sure that I was right in my information. In a purely 1v1, yes, you beat Garchomp. Yes, his ult is very powerful. It does like 1500% attack rating or something, so you always gotta be mindful of that. He could do a lot of damage to you with his ult. But you can always just Dragon Dance once away, ult away enough so that way you won't get hit by the final hit, and then you can punish him for that. And you do win the auto war because of your stuns, and you got more healing. Mainly because of the stuns your autos do, is the reason why you win that battle. Overall, I do love Dragonite. He's such a fun character when you're going with this build. I would recommend it, seriously. Scope Lens, Muscle, Razor Claw. If you want to play more passive, you could even go Potion, Focus Band, and Buddy Barrier with Muscle, and then be more of like a bruiser. Like maybe a Serena build or something like that. But give it a shot. Let me know how you feel in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.